All right, so another book in our the one book every artist should read series that I would recommend that every artist read is Masters of Doom by David Kushner. Now, if you grew up in the 90s or if you're just a gamer in general or have even heard of video games ever, you know Doom, or at least you've heard of Doom. It was the game that maybe didn't invent, but at least popularized the first person shooter genre and basically defined it for an entire generation, if not more. So the book is an insight into the two guys who made it. And of course, a team made it, but there were two guys who were really behind Doom and various other games such as Quake and Wolfenstein 3D. And the two fellows that made it were John Romero and John Carmack. And what's so important about these two is how they are like the two different sides of the brain, especially the artist brain. One, John Romero is more of the artist. He was a programmer as well, but he was more the big vision guy and the hype guy and kind of like the rock star, the chaotic side of the duo. And John Carmack was the more other side. He was the more of a programmer, more of an engineer. He's the one that built the actual engines that the games ran on. He was the one that had no problem putting on headphones and working 12, 16-hour shifts late into the night by himself, just making sure the games worked. So he would build the engines, and then Romero would build the game on top of the engine, provide the story, and he worked with the artist, graphic designers, and really presented more of the total package after Carmack had built the engine. Well, the book goes into not only how they built these games, but their personal relationship together, their working relationship, and their eventual split because Romero left or was let go. I guess whoever tells it, and started his own company that just failed miserably because he had no discipline, so to speak. He spent all of his money on cars and big office spaces and overhead, whereas Carmack, stuck his head in the sand and built the Quake 2 engine and became even more of a success. But the overall atmosphere from the people working with them and gamers in general is that the split had made each of them lose something they needed from the other one. Romero's flair and Carmack's discipline. And as an artist, that's kind of like your two sides of your brain and two sides of your heart as well. You have to be inspired to work, but you also have to work to be inspired. And that's something a lot of artists, I think, will understand is that the muse is something that has to be courted, and discipline, showing up to work on your projects, even when you're not inspired, is kind of like doing your spousal duty to the muse. And she will come and inspire you, but it's only after you've shown that you're willing to show up sometimes. So I would highly recommend this book. It's not only good for artists, but if you're an artist, I would highly recommend it. It's basically it delves into more of the business side of things and how that operates and how that helps your art and how your art can help it, and also how both sides can hurt each other. It's a wonderful, wonderful, intimate look at the right versus left brain and the yin versus yang, chaos and order. And Kushner's writing is fantastic. Um, he really paints a great picture of these uh, two individuals as well as the peripheral culture around them at the time. And he goes into the history of video games a bit and the politics behind video games or surrounding video games, especially at the time with what was happening. And it's not boring. It's a great, really quick read. It's I think 300 pages, so you can plow right through it. So yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't promote our own art while I'm here. So let me stop that. Present. I want to present APOLLYON 20XX. Here, let's get that. So this is a book 2 that is currently in our Kickstarter. Lest We Forget is the title of it. It is part 2 of our APOLLYON 20XX series, which began with Live Not by Lies. This is 100 pages, black and white, with Josh Adams' wonderful art. We really liked the black and white atmosphere for this series. We have some series that are in color, but I mean, look at that. It speaks for itself. We often describe the book as Claremont's X-Men meets Akira, the manga, one of the most famous mangas of all time. And if you're into that kind of idea, this book really is for you. And we keep the prices very competitive. 100 pages, black and white, physical copy, $15. You can also pick up our catch-up tier here, which has the first book, which is 185 pages, the current book, it's 100 pages, and the ash can. These are limited edition ash cans. We are never printing these again. All of that for $35. And we also have a universe catch-up tier where you get all of that before, and you get Biofile Kolga. This is another story in our universe that's also ongoing. That one is 100 pages full color, and you get all of that for $50. We also have some digital options here. All of that, the Godfrey Universe digital catch-up bundle for $20, and you can pick up the book itself, lest we forget, for $10 digitally. So again, pick this up. Also pick up Masters of Doom, and I will see you next time.